I remember there was a guy I was friends with, I think it was back when I worked at Napa. He was an older man. He was probably in his 50s at the time. And I was smoking back then. I was in the midst of drinking and doing drugs and all that stuff, and I smoked all the time. And he's like, those things are bad for you. And I was like, well, how do you know, Mr. So-and-so? And he's like, because I smoked for 30 years. And I said, well, what made you quit? How did you quit? And he said, I used to live up north, John. And he said, and I was sitting in my office and I was jonesing for a cigarette like I did all the time because I smoked like a chimney. And he said, so I finally just gave in and said, I'm going to go outside. And so I go, put on my coat, take the trouble, go through the office, go downstairs, go down the elevator, go outside. And he said, and I'm freezing. Like as soon as I open the door, the winter hits me in the face. I'm like, God, it's already cold. And he says, I'm sitting there fumbling with this cigarette and this lighter. I'm so cold, I can't even hold my hand still enough to light it. And I started to notice that there were tons of people that were walking in and out of the building, getting out of the cold, not subjecting themselves to this stuff. And I finally, in that moment, it hit me. And I thought, what am I doing? I'm letting this little bitty, 4-inch, 5-inch thing control my life. And he said, but I watched all these other people going in and out of this building, and they didn't have this problem. And they started to realize like I had let my passions and other things control me and my decisions and the way I live my life. When we don't subject our worldly desires and the desires of our flesh to our will, we wind up being subject to them.